famous rabbis of yesteryear. Now, tonight I want to concentrate a little bit on a very famous rabbi, happened to be especially from a city called Ispaltro, very interesting place. Don't know if we've mentioned this on various occasions before, and I think it's based in Croatia, if I'm not mistaken. He was born, I believe, in the year 1732, passed away in 1799. Now, according to Hayomi website, they would mark the Hilula here on the 16th of Tammuz. Naturally, we call that Tetzim Tammuz, because I think he would sign on that specific day an introduction to his famous book called Nahar Shalom. This was back in the year 1774. Actually signed this. So very interesting. Let's explore a few of the highlights of his life. Now, he came from great rabbinic auspices. His father's name was Rabbi David Shabtai, and I'm not too sure what his mother's name was. And he was born in Croatia. We're talking about back in 1932, about 293 years ago. Here from the time of recording. He learned Torah under auspices of a very famous rabbi. His Rabbi David Pardo, very great rabbi. He happened to be, I believe, the rabbi of the city of Ispaltro, if I'm not mistaken, author of the Torah colossal work called the Chastei David. And Rabbi David Pardo, if I'm not mistaken, was a very, very good rabbi in his time. And I believe we've actually mentioned him in the series on a few occasions before. We've had the privilege to do so. It's nice to see the breadth of rabbis. So you would actually learn from there. And I think actually testify about how great, they were. It would be chronicled over with regards to the great Rabbanim. I'll state over what she said on the Chaimi website over here. It says, "Shimi'at v'shina v'amal b'tzura u'mechane oto kochai v'reshit honi asher bacha et pa'er." Just talking about how the strength was able to go out and toil in Torah and so on and so forth. I think come with the year 1761 it was. That stage, he was still in his very late 20s. He would be appointed, I think, through Rabbi David Pardo to actually take his position as a chief rabbi of the community of Belgrade, which is a very prominent community. It's naturally in Serbia. Partly time, it was actually called the old Yugoslavia, respectively. So that was a very, very important position for Rabbi Shabtai. He would serve as a city. I think also in Sarajevo, if I'm not mistaken, this was at around the same period. I think shortly after, and maybe in the year 1773, he would take this position now into Sarajevo. Sarajevo, a place we've spoken about on various occasions. And he would now become the head rabbi over there, very, very prominent in Bosnia, this was. And what a great Talmud Chacham it was. And I think at that stage in time, there would be robust debate over various different countries, let's just say, where the rabbis under that specific sphere. Now it's interesting. There was robust debates going on at the time. I think one stage in time, famous Rabbi David Pardo gave a ruling specifying inheritance, Yerusha, and there was correspondences, let's just say, with regards to halacha realm. But at the same time, there was the strong words of praise and appreciation of the rabbis over there. Now, come on, I believe it was the year 1775. The book was printed in Amsterdam. Remember, Amsterdam, Netherlands, had a great printing press. This book was called Nahar Shalom. I think it was based on Shulchan, the Code of Jewish. This was. Now, towards, I think, the end of his life, he tried to reach Eretz Israel. It was, but I think at that stage in time, he was in Bulgaria in an area called Vidin, so it would have been difficult for him to go. And I think his student and nephew was Rabbi Eliyahu Ventura, who happened to be the book, if I'm not mistaken, of the Kochbat Dashvit. He would actually get married to his daughter, and very interesting. So you can see that his children married into rabbinic families, respectively. Now, I think towards his life, he served as rabbi in Bucharest, in Romania, and Rabbi Avram Ventura, I think the grandson of Rabbi David Shabtai Ventura, as rabbi of the city of Bucharest. So it was the connection within regards to Romania and Bucharest in of itself was very, very strong at that time, and you can just see from this family the ties they had there. Now, I believe he passed away in the year 1799. He was niftar. And the Haimi website specifically is not actually aware of the actual date, let's just say, of his passing, but they will mention it on Tet Zayin Tammuz, because that was the date where the, let's say, the signature to his Hakdama would come about in regards to a colossal work called the Nahar Shalom. Nahar Shalom is a book I think we've mentioned about on various occasions in this series and very much epitomized Rabbi David Shabtai, who was a great rabbi of his time. Let's explore a few of the highlights. Let's just say his book, because the book is also, once again, very action-packed and talks a huge amount within regards to the different specific topics over there. Okay, so we're going to look at the book of Shabtai. Teachers, one of the teachings is using, by the way, the Haimi website notes. Melamed she'av shnagu lagviya hasefer arum arish kabach ukshar hador. So one teaching from page 114. Melamed ba'amai timtza milo shel oni event tova she'ein la machir. It's actually, I think this was New York, if I'm not mistaken, in the year 2005. This book, part of the Nahar Shalom, teaching in page 117. Melamed shemal te'omim la'achnisa rishon rishon v'achrav hasheni. And just a final thing from his book, which is actually on the Haimi website. It's these teachings listed from the book. I'm just highlighting a few. Melamed kol shnehem shavim b'mala ein la'adif echad al mishnahu. It's another nice teaching, I believe, coming from Nahar Shalom on page 151. Once again, printed in New York, year 2005. So I recommend everyone to learn about that. And it was a famous book, the Nahar Shalom, printed once again in the year 1775 in Amsterdam. It was. Now, what was the book? I think his name precise was Rabbi David Shabtai Ventura, just to give his full titling. It would have, let's say, I think teachings based on Shulchan Aruch, very similar to Kiddushim and Pilpulim. I think the names that are featured actually on the preface itself includes Rabbi Benjamin Mali Hakoh, and Rabbi Shlomo Yeshurin. So this book was concentrating, let's just say, on the code of Jewish law, especially Orach Chaim, which I recommend. And I think other rabbis also would approval within regards to the book. I think there's deviations, for example, from the book, including Rabbi Shlomo Shalem of Amsterdam, Rabbi Shaul Levenstam, if I'm not mistaken, and Rabbi Shaul Alevi of Hay actually give a appropriation. I think Rabbi Yomtov Galazi, so I believe he happened to be chief rabbi at one stage at a time. So you can see many rabbis. Rabbi Menachem Azaria Ben, Rabbi Yehuda Padua. There was on different dates. There was things, I believe, or prints within regards to this, which I recommend everyone to actually look into. But yeah, he passed away, I believe, and this was, we're talking back in the year 1899, so just at the end of the 18th century, just before the start of the 19th century, he passed away. Don't forget to light candles in his memory. I know we're not sure is the date of the Silula. If you anyone descends from the great rabbi, please send me an email. I would love to hear more. If you haven't subscribed yet to the channel, please subscribe to the channel. We're nearing staggering 7,000 members. If you feel anyone also is interested in watching these videos, share these videos also to everyone. So wishing you all a fantastic day. Take care, and thanks for tuning in.